Hey everyone, Chuck Sutton here. Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. Here's what I did. I ate food. So about 2 weeks ago, I put out a track called Which I Might Be. And the response has been really cool. A lot of people I look up to listen to it. I just found out like right before recording this video that it appeared on Nightmare and Slander's Good Vibrations radio, which is dope. And most importantly, thank you so much to everyone who listened to it. Y'all my favorite. I also let everyone know that I'd be making a breakdown video if requested, so a huge shout out to these lovely people. It was really interesting revisiting this project of mine because a lot of it was just taking Ableton's new features and seeing what I could do to experiment with them. So a lot of it was just a blur of me testing things out. So right before we dive into the project, I want to talk about two new Ableton plugins. Ableton finally has a wavetable synth. With the help of this new synth, I was able to make both chord synths and the main lead for this track. For those of you who are not familiar, it uses wavetable synthesis similar to the ones found in Native Instruments Massive and X4CR. And neither of those can compare to the great taste of Neosporin. A lot of chords in electronic music are made by taking multiple saw waves and detuning them so you hear them phase and you get this nice wall of sound. The next plugin I want to shout out is Echo. If you aren't familiar with the term echo, just head on to your local bear cave and get lost. Mom, help, I'm lost, and it's cold. What I really love about this specific Echo plugin is automating the time and playing with the modulation and all the built-in effects give really nice textures to whatever sound I'm messing with. So yeah, let's get into it. The main chords you hear are actually 3 instances of wavetable. The first one is for the core sound, the second one is for a wider stereo effect, and the third one is the bass part so we can feel the sub. I have 2 acapellas going on for the vocals. One of them is the main Gucci Mane flip, the main Gucci Mane. And the second one is a melodic phrase that I added some auto-tune to and chopped up and such. In order to have that intro effect, I added some frequency shifters, so the beginning sounds kind of warbly. I added a low pass that kind of releases over time, so it sounds like it's coming out of underwater. And I added some echo and reverb, so it has a nice atmospheric fill. So I don't know if you noticed this little part right here, but basically that's the main sound with the echo effect on it, which sounds like this.
Is you rolling? Is you rolling?
So again, the main sound of the drop is made using wavetable. First I started with this sound. I don't remember the entire process exactly, but I'm assuming that I ended up flattening that into audio and then using Ableton's beat warping to give it a weird glitchy feel, which sounds like this. After playing with it some more, I added some frequency shifter and got this sound. So after making that new sound, I heard the potential rhythm for the drop and ended up chopping it and getting this sound. So I include a bongo sound twice in this song. The first time, 3 times. So I included a bongo sound 3 times in this song. For the first instance, I used Ableton's new echo in order to create this weird flutter sound, which you can hear right here.
Rolling? Is you rolling? Is you rolling?
Next, I created an instrument rack that has just a sine wave with a little bit of another sine wave fed into it, and it was just playing around with, ooh, Ableton also has a pedal effect now, which is like more ways to distort things, and a drum bus. Wow, I'm remembering a lot of things. Ableton 10 is great.
Today.
So with the drum bus and the pedal and its saturator, I was just messing around until I got like a nice beefy 808. So after going back to this project, I didn't realize that the main little rhythm here is actually a clap that I messed with. So this is the initial sample, and then I ended up reversing it and making a little rhythm out of that. I threw on, let's see, erosion. I threw on the echo because it has like a modulation. I also added Ableton's corpus, which is a metallic delay. And so you can hear at the end of the phrase, I turn up the metallic delay and it gives this rising feeling. In this section, I took the same bongo I used for that flutter, and after saturating it a bit, that's all I really did, I ended up getting this sound. I love when snares have this metallic clang, so I went and found some pan samples, but they didn't really have the oomph I was looking for. They initially sounded like this. So then I decided to take that corpus effect and I applied it to both sounds, panned them left and right, and I ended up getting something more like this. And layered with the clap, we got a nice beefy. I wanted to add some variance, so I took my first main lead chops and I filled in the gaps more. I reversed some parts, I played with it, and I ended up getting this rhythm. Which is like kind of hard to follow. After playing around and doing some experimentation, I ended up with two signals. The first one fed it through a vocoder. On that vocoder, I added a frequency shifter with an LFO. Basically what that means is it's doing this to the pitch the entire time. On the second layer, I have this like metallic-y stereo effect I made with like erosion and a flanger, and it ends up sounding like this. So this is probably my favorite thing to do production-wise. Typically I'm using a sampler for all of my vocal chops, but this time I did it by hand. So with this new bouncy addition to the main synth, I ended up taking Gucci Mane's acapella and chopping each individual syllable and aligning it with the beat's transient mode, which, long story short, turns everything into like a little pluck. And I aligned those plucks with the main rhythm, and we got this. So in this section, I wanted to vary the 808 a little bit more, and I actually did that by adding a grain delay as a top layer. And what this did is it added this really weird metallic-y crunch that I've never heard before, I wasn't expecting, but I loved it. And it sounds like this.
Going rubber band.
My favorite thing in the world is getting a rhythm out of the synths, not exactly the drums. I actually add the drums after I create the rhythm with vocal chops and synths and effects. So first I made a rhythm out of the main chords. Then I added these little like trap chants to kind of give more of a bouncy vibe. I took the main choppy lead that I've already messed with a bunch and used it as like atmospheric fill. Now for the third instance of the bongo, I ended up just using it as a snare while all of this like bouncy faux rhythm things are happening. Then I took my 808 and after making a new pattern, I high passed it a bit so it wasn't as powerful. And it sounds like this. Then I use wavetable again to make an accordion-esque sound. The first layer is the higher octaves, the second layer is the lower octaves, and then I use the chorus effect to kind of pan it out a bit. And along with some shakers, I ended up getting. And at the very end, I reintroduce the original vocals, I add the kick, make the 808 powerful, then I add some new vocal chops. This is my traditional way of doing them. I get one acapella and I duplicate it a couple times and I find nice syllables in each part and I just create a rhythm around that. So I ended up getting something like this. And there you have it. That's basically the entire track. The things I didn't cover are some claps I added, kicks, anything you could just find in a sample pack. I try to just show everything that I did on my own. If there's anything you heard specifically that I didn't cover, just ask me in the comment section below and I'll be sure to answer. When it comes to the sample challenge, I have a couple submissions in. I'm about to make the video soon. I'm holding off a bit because I know some other people are working on it but don't have them in yet. So make sure to send those in. And last but not least, I believe, I'm like 99.99% sure this Wednesday is gonna be another feedback stream with my friends and I. So check the link in the description. It's my Facebook page. Send a new track and get some feedback. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next clip.